Oh, this is Nick Lyon. This is Susa. So, Glory. This is Ian.
We're now at the junction of Transect 0, which is our main transect into the forest, and Transect B. We're more or less in the centre of Group C's territory, so because we don't know exactly where they're going to sing,
Okay.
we wait in the middle of the territory, and that means when they do start singing, we're very well placed to go after them. Most of the 11 Gibbons species, 9 of them have these duets where the male and female has very distinct songs. The Javan Gibbon doesn't, and the Cross Gibbon doesn't. Not entirely sure why, but the rest of them have these very, very distinct male and female parts. And within that, the female is the most distinctly shaped, the longest and loudest. So that part of the song is called the Great Call.
How much gibbon in this area?
In the grid system, which is 2 square kilometres, we have 12 groups.
Okay.
And if you average 4 gibbons per group, that's 48. It's not high density forest, but there are definitely gibbons here. And we reckon this is probably the largest population of gibbons in Indonesia, around 30,000 animals. If you include the whole savannah, not this particular area. We're looking mainly at the feeding ecology of gibbons, the types of trees that make up the majority of their diet, which parts of those trees they're eating, whether it be the fruit or the seeds or the leaves or flowers. And we're also collecting samples of all of the foods the gibbons eat to do mechanical and nutritional analysis on, to actually work out how much energy they're getting from the food. We're also, because no one has studied the gibbons here before, we're also doing the behavioural study, looking at where they go, what they do, group interactions between gibbons and orangutans, and indeed gibbons and any other animals, to try and build up a good overall picture of the behaviour of gibbons in this forest. As I said before, gibbons here are quite low density, but there certainly are gibbons here, they're certainly thriving and they're definitely reproducing. So we want to kind of understand how they're managing to survive, first of all, in a relatively low productivity peat swamp forest, and second, in a low productivity peat swamp forest that had been a logging concession for 30 years.
Okay.
This here is, we actually did this because orangutans eat the bark of this tree, and what they actually want is this sap and the cambium, which is underneath the bark. So they actually get the tree and strip the bark themselves, because it's an orangutan food, and that's part of Mark's study, which is the comparison to mine between the orangutans and gibbons in this forest. We had to get samples of the bark to send off to the lab in Bogor for nutritional analysis. When we're taking samples from trees and things like this, especially taking bark, we take it from many different trees. There's no way we could take enough bark from one tree without doing a lot of damage. Right, the gibbons are singing, so we better go. So now we go and find them. This now is Captain Calloway. He's the adult male of Group C. We have come about 150 metres up Transect C, and we're now pretty full off Transect in a bit of forest where we have no paths cut. So this is where they have to rely on our compass and our innate and amazing sense of where we are in the forest. They don't normally go much more than 5 days without belting out a good long singing bout. Again, normally once one group starts, the rest of them kick off as well. If somebody's advertising their territorial range, everybody wants to get in on the action. This guy singing now is Captain Calloway. He's the adult male of Group C. And at the moment, in a tree nearby is his sub-adult daughter Cynthia, who's probably between 5 and 6. Cynthia and Captain, the sub-adult and adult male, sub-adult female and adult male, have moved to join the adult female and the infant. And this is the adult female. Normally when she hits those high notes, she'll actually move around the tree shaking branches, so it's a visual and a vocal display. This one is Jambo Borum, it's the local name. And the seed is not eaten. This is an unripe one. The aril which surrounds the seed is still inside the fruit. They actually only eat this green outside part, which is the skin and pulp. This is their number, I think it's their number 2 most common food. This one is number 1. This one's malam. Sorry, I'm right-handed. This one's malam malam, and looks like it's quite ripe. And once they've actually got it open, it's this gooey, pulpy stuff on the seeds that they actually eat. And sometimes they'll just scrape it off with their teeth, but we quite often find these seeds in gibbon feces. The seeds are whole, so the seeds are obviously just passing through, but it's the juicy pulp that they actually want.
And do they survive passing through the gut?
Yes, the seeds survive intact. We don't know how well they germinate yet, but they definitely survive intact. You actually, you see this dropping out in the feces.
So they eat this flesh stuff as well, or is it just the...
No, it's just the pulp. You can feel it, it's quite soft and gooey.
It's a lot of work for this out.
Yes. Gibbons live in family groups of 3 to 5, but we always pick a focal adult and follow them, and every 5 minutes write down their behaviour using a series of codes which we've developed. We have to use the codes because if you try and write a long-winded explanation every 5 minutes of exactly what the gibbons are doing, it just takes far too long. So the great call is the name that we give to the specific part of the song that the female makes. It's the very, very loud section of song that's unique to her. The kind of whoop, 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 etc. I won't do this too loudly because they're probably still around me. That they normally only great call in the middle of a duet, which is believed to be part of territorial defence. So we're interested in how many great calls the individual females from different groups make in any given bout. So you can say, for example, the male and female sang for an hour and a half. In that period of time, how many actual great calls were made, and compare that to different groups, and also compare different groups on different days and in different seasons to see if their singing is affected. Miss Monica on the radio. This is our real science bit. This is our lab. It's very exciting.
Where we can do proper science.
This is where we do proper science, yes. It's where we process all the feces. We do the mechanical analysis on the food samples, testing for toughness and the force that's needed to break them open. Evan does all his nursery data here, measuring growth rates of the seedlings and saplings from the nursery, making drawings of them, all the different growth parts. We process samples for the lab in here as well as doing mechanical stuff, as in separating the parts eaten, the parts not eaten, separating skin from seed from pulp.
Satwa liar berhak hidup bebas. Mereka tidak pantas disiksa di kebun binatang. Jangan sampai kamu mendukung kebun binatang. Ada banyak tempat hiburan. Jangan sampai kamu membeli kartis untuk nonton satwa yang disiksa. Dapatkan handphone murah dengan potongan harga dan bonus dari